This is a Ramana Maharshi clip, a talk by Ramana Maharshi with comments by Richard Clarke. This is a time to listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. I'm Richard. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting in the books Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is from talk number 163. Dr. Henry Hand, an American of about 70, asked, "What is ego?" Maharshi, ego being internal and not external to you, it must be clear to yourself. Dr. Hand, what is its definition? Maharshi, the definition also must proceed from the ego. The ego must define itself. Dr. Hand, what is soul? Maharshi, find the ego. The soul is found. Dr. Hand, are they then the same? Maharshi, soul can be without the ego, but the ego cannot be without the soul. They are like bubbles in the ocean. Dr. Hand, that clarifies the matter. What is Atman? Maharshi, Atman and soul are the same. Ramana Maharshi's teachings provide profound insights into the nature of the self, ego, soul, and Atman. In this dialogue, Dr. Henry Hand poses a fundamental question: what is ego? Ramana Maharshi's response emphasizes that the ego is internal, not external. It is something that needs to be understood by oneself. This points to the introspective nature of understanding the ego, as it cannot be defined by external factors, but requires internal clarity. This is what self-inquiry is all about. When Dr. Hand seeks a definition of ego, Maharshi asserts that the ego must define itself. This encapsulates the self-reflective nature of understanding the ego. It suggests that any attempt to define the ego should rise from your own introspective inquiry, rather than relying on external sources. How can any external source tell you about ego? Next, Dr. Hand asks about the soul. Maharshi's response is succinct and profound, saying that finding the ego leads to the discovery of the soul. This connection highlights the interdependence of the ego with the soul. While the soul can exist without the ego cannot exist independently of the soul. The analogy of the bubbles and the ocean illustrates this relationship vividly. The soul is vast and all-encompassing, while the ego is a transient, individualized manifestation. The conversation then touches on Atman, as Maharshi says that Atman and soul are synonymous. This aligns with the Advaita Vedanta philosophy, emphasizing the oneness of the individual soul, the jiva, and the ultimate reality, Atman. It reinforces the idea that the essence of your being is not different from the universal consciousness. This dialogue encapsulates the profound teaching of Ramana Maharshi on self-inquiry, the nature of the ego, the interrelation between ego and soul, and the oneness of Atman. It invites you to turn inward, find out about the ego through self-inquiry, and realize the oneness of the individual soul, Atman, and the universal consciousness, Brahman. So, inquire, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. These videos help bring Ramana Maharshi's teachings into your direct experience. Subscribe now